Hey everyone, this is Tony Reeves, and this is another edition of In the Know. And I want to talk about 5 things that you need to know when you're in the process of having those end-of-life discussions with your parents. I'm not saying everybody's going to be in a situation, but there's probably a good chance you're going to inherit something. Whether it be a house or a car, or maybe somebody's favorite blanket, your parents are probably going to leave something to you. Let's be clear. None of us like to have the end-of-life discussion. It's just not a fun conversation to have because it reinforces the reality that their time with us is coming to an end. But it's important that you have these conversations so this way you can be prepared for the situations that may present themselves. So this way there's no issues ahead of time. So for those of you who are thinking about having those conversations with your parents and trying to figure out how you want to plan as it relates to you, here are 5 things that you should keep in the back of your mind. Number 1, yes, your parents should talk to an attorney. If your parents are married and they have multiple children and they have assets, even if it's a house or a car, whatever the case may be, you want them to make sure that if they have ideas of where they want it directly to go, that they should talk to an attorney to make sure they put all those things in line. It's amazing all the different circumstances that may present themselves and how easy it is for our parents to say, oh, I want you to get this and I want you to get that. But the reality is that once they've passed on, they're not really in a position to tell you anything. So if there's nothing in writing, you're going to leave it up to the laws of the state. And if you don't want to leave it up to the laws of your state, you want to encourage your parents to take the time to sit down to talk to an attorney to help them measure out how everything is supposed to go out accordingly. Because even if it's a situation where they both pass away at the same time, you want to know what are their plans. And the best persons to put them in a position to educate them is an attorney. Number 2, stop acting like your parents have nothing to leave you. One of the important things that we should do is that you should take an opportunity to sit down with your parents and inventory everything they have. The big stuff is easy. You see a house, you see a car, great. But what about the little things? What happens to the china set that's been passed down? Or the radio that was been in the family for a couple of generations? What about various memorabilia that's been there in the family that's been passed down from generations? Where do they want that to go? What if they want to make sure a niece or a nephew or a charitable foundation gets these things? Well, just relying upon what they're saying may be one version because they'll tell one child one thing, but they may tell another child another. So instead of falling into this trap of trying to figure out what they actually meant, take an inventory of everything and don't discount anything. It doesn't matter whether it's important to you. What matters is that it's important to them because they still have it. And more importantly, you might find yourself getting it. Number 3, where there's a will, there is a way. And what I mean by the will, I mean a will. Sometimes what your parents will do, they will actually put together a will that outlines everything for where they want all of their assets to go. And this is the perfect scenario until it's not. Why? Because there's a couple of things you need to be mindful about when they tell you they have a will. You want to know, where is this will? Because guess what? When your parents pass and you're in the middle of grieving, you're not going to be instinctively thinking about, well, wait a minute, they said they had a will, but where is it? So you want to know, where is it so you can put your hand on it? Who has it? Because sometimes they may not keep it, or maybe they have someone else has a copy of it for them. It may be in a safe deposit box at a bank. It may be with an attorney that they hired. It might even be a loved one. So you want to know who has it. And most importantly, who is the executor? Because this is the person who is responsible for opening an estate with the court if necessary, inventorying everything, sending notices to all of the creditors. So you want to know who is the person who is going to jump on board and take care of this. Remember, if there is no will, then you basically have to lobby the court to designate someone as an administrator that serves the same purpose of doing all the notices to the creditors and getting your inventory and everything like that. My point is that if they've already identified in their will who they want to settle the estate for them, it's probably in your best interest to know who that is ahead of time. So this way, if something happens, you can go directly to that person first, as opposed to trying to figure out who it is. Number 4, ask about the things that are directly going to come to you that they already know is going to directly come to you. Now, you're going to say, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Of course it does. If they have a life insurance policy, if they have you listed as the beneficiary, you want to know about that. If their intent is to transfer ownership of their car or of their house or of their land directly to you before they pass, you want to know that. Because the last thing you want to be is in a situation where they've executed some document and you didn't even realize it, or you look up one day and you've got something coming to you that you didn't have any idea about. So you want to find out from them, is there anything in particular that they're planning on letting you have directly? So this way you know about this in advance. 5th and finally, yes, and you should talk to an attorney. Now you're going to say, well, wait a minute, that don't make any sense. Well, think about it. A good number of us don't live in the same state of our parents. So if we have our own properties and we're trying to create a will, the attorney may ask you a question. Do you know if your parents are going to leave you anything? Well, guess what? If your parents are going to leave you a car, that's an asset. If they're going to leave you property, that's an asset. If they're going to leave you anything that you didn't have before, that's an asset. And why is that important? Because guess what? If that happens in a different state, the laws of that state may not be the same as the laws of the states that you're in. Your attorney needs to know that, or the attorney that you hire to take care of your wills and everything needs to know that. So this way they know if something is supposed to come to you, and more importantly, come to you, like let's say, for instance, it comes to you and let's say that your parent, like you just pass away before your parents, but your parents still plan on sending it to your kids or to you or through your estate. You want to make sure that your estate knows how it's going to handle getting something from another state. Another reason why you want to know is because if you have an attorney here, if you tell them, listen, my mom or my dad is going to leave me some property, do I need to hire an attorney in that state as well? Or can I just retain you and you engage an attorney in that state accordingly? You want to make sure you know that ahead of time. So this way, when you're dealing with it, you're ready and prepared to move accordingly. Here's the final deal. No one wants to have the end of life discussion. It's not a pretty discussion, mainly because we all want to spend as much time with our loved ones as possible. But the reality is that when your moment your loved ones pass, the transition to the next level for them may be easier for you, or it could be chaotic for you. If they have put all the pieces in place, whether through legal means or not through a probate, or with your attorney as well, it just makes things so much easier than having to not only deal with the emotions of them leaving, but also the chaos of figuring out what they wanted. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check me out at anthonyreeves.com for more information about me, speaking opportunities, as well as subscribing. Please feel free to join there. You'll find all that you need to. And always remember this: are you ready for the Anthony Reeves experience?